Have you always wanted to build your very own survival kit, but don't want to break the bank by buying new items that are pricey? Well, you're in luck. Yard sales and thrift stores have become a treasure trove for essential survival items that won't cost you a fortune. In today's video, we will walk you through 15 must-have survival items you should look for at any thrift store or yard sale. We will also show you how to determine the quality of survival items you find in yard sales or thrift stores and some common mistakes you should avoid when shopping for these items. First up is camping gear. You can find amazing items like tents, backpacks, sleeping bags, stoves, and more at every yard sale or thrift store. The cool thing about buying secondhand camping gear is that it won't cost you an arm and a leg. When shopping for camping gear like tents, sleeping bags, and backpacks, you want sturdy items that can withstand harsh weather conditions. Check for holes or tears in the fabrics. For tents, you want to test the zippers and poles to ensure they are all in excellent condition. To avoid any regrets later on, it's always a brilliant decision to ask the seller if they have used the gear recently and if everything is working well. Next, you want to look for outdoor clothing like boots, jackets, and pants. Trust us when we say you don't want to find yourself in the wilderness without the right clothing to protect you from harsh weather conditions. In addition to boots, jackets, and pants, you also want to buy durable and waterproof clothing materials such as raincoats and gloves. These items are sure to keep you warm and dry, even during the most extreme weather conditions. Water filtration systems are another important survival item you should look out for at any yard sale or thrift store. Sure, buying a new one will cost you a fortune, but at a yard sale or thrift store, you'll get them for a ridiculously low price. When buying water filtration systems at a yard sale or thrift store, you want to look for one that is portable and designed to clean water from different sources, including rivers, lakes, and streams. Without a doubt, having a water filtration system can save your life, especially when you run out of water and need to stay hydrated. However, before you take the item home, test it and ensure it works correctly. Knives are another critical item you should have in your survival kits. When shopping for knives at thrift stores or yard sales, always go for knives that are sharp and in great condition. It's important you avoid dull or rusty knives as they won't be of any use. Besides knives, another fantastic tool you should have in your survival kit is hunting and fishing gear. Items like fishing rods, lures, reels, and hunting rifles are a must-have in any survival kit. These items will come in handy when you're in dire need of food, especially in a survival situation. Flashlights might not be essential when you live in civilization, but when you find yourself in the wilderness, having a flashlight will save you a lot of headaches. Thankfully, you can find all sorts of flashlights in a yard sale or thrift store. But before you settle for any flashlight that tickles your fancy, ensure you inspect the battery compartment for corrosion. Also, turn on the flashlight to check if it works. Although blankets may not seem like a survival item, rest assured that they can be incredibly helpful, especially during emergencies. That's why we always recommend having a couple in your survival kit. What's unique about blankets is their multi-purpose use. You can use them as a makeshift stretcher, for insulation, and even for shelter. Do you know that containers can be repurposed for storing water and food? Oh yes, so don't skip them next time you find them at a yard sale or thrift store. But before you buy any container, ensure that they are sturdy and in great condition. You want to avoid any container that is already leaking. Books are a treasure trove of survival knowledge, and you'll find tons of them at thrift stores and yard sales. But instead of just buying any books you find, look carefully for books on first aid, wilderness survival, and outdoor cooking. And yes, you also want to look for tools like saws, shovels, and axes. These tools will come in handy, especially when building a shelter. When shopping for these tools, please ensure they are in great condition. On some rare occasions, you might come across a trailer or a camper that you can repurpose for survival purposes. Whenever you come across such a find, ensure you don't miss out on them. So long as they are in great condition, you'll find a use for them. Last but certainly not least, don't forget to look for maps at a yard sale or thrift store. Having a decent map will make it easy to navigate the wild, especially if it's not a terrain you're familiar with. Now that you know what survival items to look for in a yard sale or thrift store, it's also important to know how to determine their quality and value. To make your job easy, we've put together some helpful tips. First, you need to ensure that you thoroughly inspect the items for any type of damage or wear and tear. For electronic items, ensure you test them and confirm they are working. Ensure you look at the battery compartment for any type of corrosion. Besides checking the seams and zippers for outdoor clothing, we always recommend checking the fabrics for holes or tears. And don't forget to look for signs of mold or mildew, which could constitute a health hazard. Buying items that are too old or damaged beyond repair is a no-no and a waste of resources. Even if you get a great deal for such items, buying them will not make any sense as you won't find a use for them during survival situations. Once you have bought these survival items, you don't want to leave them lying around your home. Since you might not need them right away, you can have them neatly organized and stored. When storing your survival items, it's a good idea to keep them in airtight containers. Doing this protects them from moisture and dust. Also, you want to label the containers properly so you can easily distinguish which is which. And yes, always keep your survival items in a dry, cool place. Let us also quickly add that you can hang your gear on hooks or pegs for seamless access. While it's okay to keep important items at eye level, you can store the lesser used items higher up. When packing a backpack, you want to ensure the weight is evenly distributed. To achieve this, you want to place the heavier items at the bottom of the bag. And don't forget to adjust the straps so it feels comfortable. It's one thing to have the essential tools to survive in the wild or during emergencies, but without the requisite experience, you might have a hard time surviving the most difficult situations. Thankfully, movies like Castaway teach you survival tactics and how to make use of the survival items that you've stocked. Also, you can learn a lot from TV shows like Survivor, where contestants have to cater for themselves on deserted islands with limited resources. These shows teach you the requisite skills to survive in extreme conditions. Without mincing words, having a well-stocked survival kit is super important for anyone preparing for emergencies. We hope you have learned a thing or two from today's video. Thanks for watching our ultimate guide for finding essential survival items at yard sales or thrift stores. With a bit of know-how and a stroke of luck, you can score fabulous finds that are super useful for emergencies and wilderness survival. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more amazing prepping videos.